car. This is a backpack. This is a case. This is a shop. This is Sarah.
Welcome back to the channel. Today I am helping Sarah end tune Bodywork Celica. So she did a bunch of work. It is currently sprayed in epoxy primer, but there is a few things that need attention. Probably gonna have to do a skim on this roof.
Bing, bing.
What are you doing, Sarah? You ready?
Bing, bing, bing.
What we're gonna do first is we're going to move this closer to the garage door so we can start working around it and start going over it with 80, maybe 120 grit to figure out where their high spots and where the low spots are. See a little bit of stuff here and there. There looks to be, you know, a dent here, some weird stuff going on with the fender here, but besides that, the car looks relatively straight. I mean, I see some stuff on the door, but it just looks like a lot of parking lot dings from over the years, and maybe a little bit of maybe somebody climbed on the top of the roof at one point in time.
Just step up to a 3. I shouldn't have anything that uses a 1.
What is that?
This is the blade to do the spreading with.
Okay.
So it's also what he uses to check the flatness.
Looks fancier than a drywall spreader.
Right?
I like drywall spreaders though.
Fred is like really into the newest and greatest shit when it comes to bodyworking. I noticed.
What do you say when you ask him for a drywall spreader?
He probably has one of those too. I didn't ask.
Finished sanding the roof in 80 grit, kind of figuring out where all these high spots, you can see it's bare metal.
You're a high spot.
And then low spots, which all the low spots you have to hand sand. Some of this Evercoat Rage, mix up a little bit.
Rage.
All the rage?
It's all the rage.
We're gonna have lots of Sarahs in this. Your spacesuit.
PE. I have like full spacesuit. Don't you have?
I don't know if I'm gonna die early.
No, you probably will live to like 105.
I have my body filler on a mixing board. Usually what I like to do, hardener across it.
I'm wondering if we can
And
flip it over.
you always want to test it out, because if this sets too cold or if it sets too fast.
Just spit on the top of it and swirl your hand around and then go really fast to get it warm, and that usually gets it hard enough. Spreading it out, spreading.
Cakes.
Dave, do you also bake?
Cakes? I spread cakes.
You spread cakes? No, I wasn't talking about that. See that?
this is why you don't wait till it's all the way hard.
What?
That's what she said.
That's what I was going to try to do. You beat me to it.
I've watched too many episodes of The Office.
Oh, The Office?
Yeah.
Is that the one that has my doppelganger?
Huh?
The one that has my doppelganger?
Who?
Everyone thinks I look like her.
Who?
I don't know, we're literally the same age. Actually, she's a year older than me.
Oh.
She's got a really dry sense of humor. Her name on Instagram was the Evil Hag.
I don't think she's in The Office. I just finished skimming the roof, and I do this in about 3 sections just because it's really hard to cut all that down with 40 grit because it starts to harden really quick. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually skim the whole roof, but I usually use resin to mix up with the body filler, and I use this Evercoat stuff, Rage Ultra, but I always use just fiberglass resin. They have this plastic honey that does the exact same thing, but the only other issue with the resin, if you use it over that, is it takes a little bit longer to cure. Using that method, you can use a lot and cover a lot more area, and then you could use a lot longer blade to
Instead of wombat's
set
leg,
a lot longer blade.
I'm going to use a wombat's leg.
But yeah, you use a lot longer blade, so then you make sure that your panel's straight, and then it makes sure everything is really nice and thin, and you're not building a bunch of body filler up and have like super thick layers. Like you can still see the roof actually flexes. Do patches like I started to in the first place, then you'll have like all these highs and lows, and this really evens it out when you're sanding it, so it's all nice and smooth. The body filler out on one side of the trunk, and what I like to do is do pretty much one whole side, and I didn't want to go too far because there's a really faint body line right here. I now have the passenger side of the trunk all nice and worked out with the Evercoat body filler. As you can see, it's really thin. You could almost see the bare metal underneath it, which is exactly how I want it. I don't want to build up a bunch of body filler. I mean, a lot of people, you can see when they fix cars, there's like a quarter or half inch of filler. That's something you don't want because that could peel off later on. And this is really just a skim coat to make sure everything is even. The one thing about cars is their panels really never come from the factory even, and to get a car straight so it has that nice, you know, when you see them at a car show and they're perfectly smooth when you're looking down the side of them, you don't get factory cars that look like that. Able to get the roof all finished up, sanded down, looks pretty smooth. Sarah's going downstairs.
It's hard to do in the spacesuit.
So while I was working the roof, I did the top of the trunk. Since Sarah is using a reproduction wing that's kind of like a whale tail that goes on the back. So there is a little thing right here where they welded up the holes for the emblem, but the emblem goes on the wing. So this will all be covered up and really isn't that important. It's not super deep or anything, and it's going to get painted and it'll look fine and you'll never see it again. So top of the trunk is perfectly straight, top of the roof is perfectly straight, and Sarah's working on the quarters and Angel's working on the doors. Tried to do as much of the big stuff as we could while I was here, but we didn't get everything done, right, Sarah?
I have so much body filler in my nose and I'm funny.
I'm gonna make you do the outro. The roof looks good, the trunk looks good, the rear quarters look good, the doors need a little bit more. And
Dave has body filler dust in his belly button mixed with sweat, so now he has a smooth over. He's belly buttonless. He's now an alien.
I look like, yeah, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Never mind. But I'm gonna end the video here. Can't wait to see this in the brownish, tannish color, yellow.
Mustard.
Yeah, space mustard. But if you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.